Hello, so first of all I will show you guys how we can open the Windows terminal. So first of all we go write CMD inside here, run this administrator as we will have full privilege. We open it up, CTRL and also mouse to scroll more to have a better view of it. And first of all what we will need to know is the help menu. If you write help we can see all the underlying specific commands that we can use in the Windows terminal. So this is very important to know. For example, I will show first you guys how to use the command called cd. So this is for actually going into directories or like changing into directories and so on. And I will also now write cls to clear the terminal. So cls is used to clear the terminal. And cd if we want to go, for example, from this system32 folder. So this is the folder path. We want to go to Windows, for example, we can write cd ... and we will be, for example, in the Windows folder, or if you write again, we will be in the C drive folder, C drive hardware. So if you write, if you open the graphical interface, we can see, for example, the Windows drive and then the basic stuff inside here, the whole folder and everything. So how can we see this? It also inside on the terminal. We can write dir for directory. You will see, for example, the directory which is also listed on the graphical interface here. So if we want to, for example, go to the program files and then command files or designer, we can, for example, then copy this path and write cd and also paste it here, or write it if you guys want. And then we will actually, if we clear the window, be in the same folder which is also specified here. Or for example, if we want to go to this desktop environment, easy and quick way, we can right click on it and properties, and then we copy the location, CTRL-V on the keyboard, CTRL-C on the keyboard, and then we paste it with right click, and then we write, for example, behind it cd. And then directory, we can actually see the directory inside here as well of this desktop environment of the graphical interface. So there are also many other options that we can, for example, see things on the Windows system. For example, hostname is used to see the name of your networking system. It will show, it will basically show the name of your Microsoft computer on the network that people can see if they sniff the traffic. Or we can, for example, also use a command called echo to actually write a text file. So we write echo hello, and we will specify the path, which will be this path, and we will also specify this syntax option. This means we will put it inside here, and we will write also the text file named as hello.text2. Then we will have, for example, hello.text2, and the hello string which we specified, for example, here also inside. And for example, if we look at more the help menu, we can also see other specific information, for example, like system information. If we write system info, we can see the system information of your system. As you guys can see here, we see the information about your system, registered owner, this is my email, and also my OS name, my system name, and so on. For example, also if you want to, for example, copy this hello text file, right? And we want to first, let's say, put it in a folder, we can write the mk directory. As we are already in this folder, we don't need to specify the path, so we can just do mk directory. And then we can specify hello2, and this will create a hello2 folder, and then we can put this inside. So how can we even put it inside, right? So we can use a tool called xcopy. And if you look at the directory, for example, and write xcopy, and we can look at the hello file, hello.text file. This is the extension. Dot in the extension is the file, and directories don't have extensions, as you guys can see here. We will just write hello2, so this will copy this file into this directory. And as you guys can see, it says one file is copied, and if you, for example, now will go into the hello2 directory, we will, for example, see the hello2 and the string specified specifically in this directory. So how can we copy this directory, for example, in any system? For example, let's say in the games folder or something. First we will copy the games folder path, right, X copy, and we will take the hello2 folder, because it's already specified in the path that we are already inside, so we don't need to specify the path. So then we will also paste the directory, copy it, paste, and then we can also rename it differently, for example hello3, and then we will specify that it's a directory, and then we've copied one directory in file also inside here, and it's named as hello3 because we specified it as hello3 here, and we have it here, for example. And for example, there are also networking tools that I can show you guys. For example, if we ipconfig, which is used to see your specific private IP address, and this is your wireless LAN adapter or Wi-Fi. If you, for example, will see here, that's how we connect to the Wi-Fi, and the underlying options also about it, like the private IP and the gateway. The gateway is the IP of your gateway or the internet provider system that will then give your specific IP number in this range. So many IPs have different ranges, like devices, they get assigned a range. And also, like for example, we will use a tool called ARPA. This will show the specific physical addresses. Here we can see, for example, for our interface, my IP address, we can see here all the underlying MAC addresses which are specified and assigned to the IP addresses here. Now if you right here, I will show you also like tools, for example, like netstat. Netstat is usually used to listen to traffic. We can, for example, look at the help menu like this, and then we can specify the usage by this way. So those are all the options we can choose from, and this is how we can have the usage of them. For example, we can write netstat, and then A to display all connection and listening ports. As guys can see here, this is my local address and the port number, and this goes with the foreign address, and the state is listening or established here, and the protocol which is used, the transmission control protocol, is here. So that's basically how we can see specific stuff. In this clip I will show you guys some other networking commands. Most importantly, like I said before, you guys need to always write help and ping. We can write ping in like this. This is mostly used in command line terminal, and there are underlying options. This is the usage if you want to ping, and for example find your target name. With this tool we can use it look at the IP addresses of a website or server. For example, if I will just ping google.com, it will display the IP addresses. Usually it won't display it in numerical form, so usually it will actually display it like in the 60 format, but it cannot be shown because our router gateway doesn't show it basically. But for example, we can specify it here if we want to use -4 or -6. So if I use ping for, for example, Instagram.com, we can find the IP addresses. As you guys can see here, there's the IP address. And then we can also specify from what source address it should send from, and some underlying options. So this is one of the tools that we can use to actually see the IP addresses of the external network. There's also netstat, like I said before. So I will show you guys also the task list first of all. The task list shows all the task managed processes, like programs that are running on the system. And you guys can see here, that's like the PID, or the process identifier. That's like identifies in numeric form the processes. And if you guys want to see more about it and specify different ways, you can see the usage is like this. And for example, I will show you guys how we can, for example, listen to a program what information it will send out. For example, we can do headstat minus anon and we pipe it, so we script it with, for example, find string. It will find a string specific numeric alphabetic to a specific for example, port or like connection that get established, as you guys can see here. If you want to know why our IP address is sends over this port door to this foreign address, remote address, we can, for example, just copy this port and write down here netstat.anon find string, and then we do this, hit enter, and as you guys can see here, it shows the process identifier here, state establish, and also the all for connection. So we want to see what specific process ID this one has. And as you guys can see, we can actually not find anything because it doesn't show, or it's like hidden. But usually, if you go to the details, the PID will show here, and you guys can move around it. Now, for example, if I want to see this specific PID, I can write 4524. 4524, and we can see that all these connections run under this specific process identifier, for example. And I will also show you guys a way to look at your Wi-Fi password, or to see passwords that you have forgotten. For example, we can use Nash. It's you write help. We can see, for example, there we can change the firewall or like change the specific network connected stuff. But I will show you just a simple command. Let's clear this one first. I will show you guys a simple command to extract actually the router name. For example, if I look at the profiles first, this is my router name. I will make profiles and then name and then 1x, 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 and then we make key here. And then as you guys can see here, that's the key content and the password of my router name. So this is very important to know, that we can, for example, retrieve the password if you forgot it or something. Now it's clear. I will show you guys another tool. This one is used to look at your DNS or domain name server address, which translates actually IP address in a form of like formats of like names, like host names, that it will get translated alphabetic from numeric forms. And if you write help, we can also see more specific information that we can specify inside. So it's very important that you guys know these underlying information as how we can work around with the command line, and this is very useful. And also it's very important to always use the help command to look at the help manual of all the tools. Here I will show you guys how to use the command or tool called curl. So this is used to extract or get like send requests and get responses from websites. How we gonna use it, or how we can open the help menu is like this: curl help, and this are all the specifications we can put, and the usage is curl, and then the options which are listed here, then the link, the URL link, website link at the end. So for example, also there is like the full help manual. As you guys can see, help all, it will specify like a lot of options you can put inside, but I'm just gonna show you guys now specific options. So I will make curl an O option for output, and then I will output it in this directory. It's this desktop environment. and then we will rename the file as google.html, as HTML is the front-end page programming language to program websites. And then I will also take the data from google.com. And as you guys can see here, we have Google, and if we open it, the document says 300 moved. The document has moved here. And if we click, we will get redirected to this page basically. So how can we see it even without the file itself? How the data gets? How can we bring the data out on the terminal? We just make the output option away and just curl. And this is like the format, the text format of the same. But this is like the graphical interface of it. So for example, how we can also follow this link. How can we also click on this link, right? So for example, when we make curl, we can make output. We can copy the same one here, and then we will write behind here L to follow the redirection of this link, and then we will write google.com, and then you guys will see it just opened Google like this basically. So if you will for example do it also just with google.com without specifying it in a file, you guys can see all the data code that will get basically translated. And also if you guys for example wanna now download a picture, for example, you will click on this cat picture, left button, inspect, and as you guys can see here, that's the link of the image file. So we just copy the link of the image file specifically here. Then we paste it on that different tab. And now if you want to, for example, download this one, we will copy it, ctrl-C, curl, and then output. And also we will output it, of course, in this specific directory. And then we will name it cat.jpg or png. Those are the extensions of images, but I will just do a GPG. And then you will copy this link. It's the URL. These are the options, and there's the curl command. And now if you guys will, for example, output it, and you will guys have, for example, a cat picture, as you guys can see here. So that's how the basics of curl works, and for more options you guys can write curl help all. You will get all the underlying options. Also you guys can, for example, also write curl help all and find string and find like specific things like methods. You guys will just find the specific things that you can modify in the curl command. So find string, finds the specific string that is alphabetic or numerical to the value that you guys just want to find. Everyone, this clip I will show you guys how we can execute or start files on the system. So I'm on a desktop right now with the listed directory. You guys can see the specific files that we have here. For example, if I want to start, for example, a cat image file, as you guys can see here, that's the graphical interface of it. We can write cat.jpg, then it will open the cat file, or we can also write start cat.jpg, then it will also open the cat file. Okay, now let's now clear the window. So that's how we open basically files. But there also exist files which basically can be opened from different directories. For example, Microsoft Edge is a browser on the Microsoft Windows system. This is by default. Even though we don't have the file inside here, the Microsoft Edge browser, how can we find it, or where does it exist? We can use, for example, a command called where to find the specific file where it is listed. Microsoft Edge, as you guys can see here, it's listed in this directory. Or where we can also, for example, list specific files, extension that all end with exe, for example, and we will find all kind of files that end with the exe extension. Now when we clear the windows, we can also find extensions ending with DLL, and we find all files ending with DLL. Or we want to find picture files, we can also write where, and then we can specify, and then it's a PNG. We see all kind of picture files that exist. So where is a command to usually look at files or folders or the system. This is the example of the commands what we can do. So if you guys want to read more about the usage, then we can also look at all the underlying options what we can do. But anyways, we will I will show you the apps that can be executed from outside specific directories. For example, the Microsoft Edge that I showed before, it's in this directory. So in the Windows Apps directory, we will go inside and look at the directory inside. We will see that there are specific files that you can just start up by the name itself. You guys, and also if you're in a different directory, you guys can just actually just execute it. For example, if I want to execute MS Paint, I can, for example, go to a totally different directory and write MS Paint, and it will open the painting program. Or for example, if I will be in this kind of, I will go the system desktop environment and I'm inside there. And for example, if I want to start from here, I can open the MS Paint program too. So the directory which the files can be executed from basically any other directory are stored in this Windows Apps directory. So you can also store files there and then execute it from your outside basically. Okay, today guys, I'm gonna show you guys how we can, for example, script batch file. So first of all, we will use Azure to make the coded file or text file, and then we will put it inside this directory. As we are already inside, we don't need to specify it. We just will need to write, for example, execute.bat, and then as you guys can see, we will have the execute.bat here. If we will, for example, like to read it, we go show more options, edit, and we will delete all of this, and then we will write Azure off to start the batch file, and then we will write, for example, we can write start Microsoft Edge www.google.com. That will open the Google website, and then we will also specify, for example, to open the website Instagram.com. And then we can also specify the command, for example, netstat anon. So what netstat anon does, it will listen to the traffic of the network, what's happening around. So after you guys wrote it, we will gonna take the file, save as all files, and then put the extension bat to make it be a batch file, and then we will save it on this directory, of course, because that's the desktop directory, and we will save it and then replace it. And now if you guys, for example, will click on it, it will open Google and Instagram. But for example, if it just closes, for example, the netstat anon tool too quick, you guys can, for example, copy that and also maybe make it on the start, that it will actually stay. So now if we can also execute it actually from a terminal. If we write execute.bat, which is this file, you will get in the terminal the networking connection and information, and then it will also open Instagram and Google at the same time. That's how basically scripting works, and you guys can combine any command line commands and also pipe them together, or like if you guys, for example, wanna only find specific port numbers or like specific numbers in the netstat tool, you guys can write find string in 80. And now if you guys will, for example, execute it, the execute.bat, you guys will see that everything that has the number 80, specifically 80 and so on, will be displayed. So anything with 80 that exists will be displayed basically. If you guys just want to, for example, see the protocols, like for example only like UDP, you guys can write for example also UDP. And now if you will for example execute it again, you guys will only see the protocols UDP behind here, and it will also open Instagram and Google like we have specified here. So that's how scripting works, and you guys can actually modify and change it however you guys like want it to be. So you guys can make it very advanced, but I do it in a very basic way for you guys just to understand, as this is for beginners. And again, not to forget, you guys should also use the help manual a lot to understand the specific tools that will be used here. So always try out to use specific tools and try other options that you can like specify inside. That's how you guys can learn about the Windows system and its command terminal much more.